Let me know if y'all can hear me or see me. I'm trying out my new okay, let's see. I am trying to figure this thing out. Okay, there I am. I apologize. Your former company is gone bye bye. Okay. Hello, all. Can y'all hear me and see me? Give me 1 second. Let me see something. Okay. All right, guys. I'm here. So I wanted to be able to answer a couple of questions, but um, basically just to talk about what happens when a company closes, what happens for lease drivers, what happens for everybody, okay, and carriers as well. Okay, most of you have heard that LTI has closed their trucking company and their brokerage company. Okay. And I am, let me see, I got y'all way up there. Let's see if I can put y'all down here some. I'm trying to adjust. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So most of y'all have heard that LTI has closed its trucking company and the brokerage. Okay. When the news first came out, it was given to the drivers saying that the trucking company was going to close, but the brokerage was going to stay open. Okay. Let me start all the way from the beginning. Okay. As you guys know, I worked for L for 4 years and I was able to pay off my truck. That's where I paid my truck off at. Okay. Now, since 2022, I want to say 2022, 2020, right when the pandemic had hit, I was at the end of paying my truck off, and that's when I left LTI. So I hadn't been with them as on the company side since 20, I want to say 22. Okay. Um, so let me give you a little background. LTI has is like the second, well, was the second largest trucking company in St. Louis. Okay, they have a fleet of about 250 drivers. They have the trailers. They have lease operators. They have company drivers. They ran regional loads as well. Okay. The owner has been in business for over, oh my God, for a long time, like over, I want to say 15. I don't know exactly what year he acquired LTI, but he acquired LTI a long time ago. Okay, the owner is one of the most amazing people I've ever met. Okay, he always had a uh keyboard says I was a driver that was heartbreak. Keyboard, was you a driver at the time that they closed, or was you a driver like from previous? And if you was a driver, was you a lease operator or a company driver? So I wanted to talk to you guys. If y'all ever known the owner of the company, he was just awesome. He was a family person. He had an open door policy. Anytime that you wanted to talk to him, you like, yes, I'm currently a company driver. Keyboard, did y'all get paid Friday? So, um, it's kind of, yes, okay. I heard everybody got paid. That's where I remember it got me on to LTI. Yeah, Corey, you was at LTI as well. Bow, hey. Um, but yeah, but the owner and and really, you can't talk about LTI unless you've been there. Okay, so the owner is an amazing person. Okay, he is very nice. He's the type of person you can always talk to. He will help you out with any type of issues or problems that you may have. I went to LTI. Lee says LTI was great. Yes. No Fly Zone says we drove for LTI together. So it's a lot of drivers that drove for LTI and that really loved the company. It was a laid back kind of atmosphere. We drove refrigerated. We also was regional drivers, okay? And we took pride in what we did, okay? And even though at the time it was a small company, we had accounts like Hershey, we had accounts like Pick Sweet, we had accounts like, all these different things, right? So um, um, I really liked it as a company. Okay. Now, what happened between, yeah, I made money at LTI. Val says, yes, she made money at LTI. Okay. So, and they paid a little bit more. They had Walmart. You're right. They had Walmart as well. Cold storage. Yep. They had a lot of accounts. Okay. To keep you moving. And the lease program was better than most. Okay. Also, um, how would I say this? The lease program was better than most. Okay. And as a small company, you just did what you had to do, and that was it. It was very obtainable in order to pay your lease off if your truck didn't break down and all this kind of stuff. Okay. Now, what happened from um, from the time that I was there up into now, them all of a sudden closing its doors like instantly. I'm not exactly sure. So the only thing that I could do is give my opinion about some of the things that I think that may have happened, and it may not actually be the case. But I do know when you had and it was a second chance company. So if you had any problems, issues, or anything like that, they will take you on, they will hire you. Okay. Not everything, but most of the time they was able to work with you. Okay. Now, as you grow it and you become a trucking company that has 250 drivers, you got all these accounts and things like that. One of the biggest things, guys, is as being a carrier with my own authority, insurance is a huge cost, and insurance will take you out like that. Okay. The reason why is we pay our insurance once a year, right? So what happens is you pay your insurance all year, right? And about 2 months before your insurance is to renew, you have to turn in all your IFTAs, you have to turn in all your claims, you have to turn in all this stuff to get your new rate for the up incoming year, right? So if you look on the FMCSA board, you will see that on the safer, you will see that both the LTI trucking company and the brokerage is both up for renewal. Okay. Anytime you are in Anytime you are in a window of 30 days on the FMCSA, it's going to say pending cancellation. Okay. And that's for everybody, anybody, whether you're doing good or you're not. If it's in 30 days, it's going to say pending cancellation. So you don't have to worry about that because normally we will get our insurance reinstated within the time of the insurance before the insurance is supposed to cancel. Okay. Either you're going to go with your same insurance company or you're going to replace it with something else. Okay. So, in my mind and my idea, I just recently went through getting my renewing my insurance for the up and coming year. And when I got it, Hold on one second. Hello, this is Tamara speaking. More food? Oh no, I didn't open today. I apologize. It will probably be Wednesday. Okay. Um, like right now tonight, like the any casinos will have food open this time of night. Uh-huh. I'm not sure. Can I call you back? There's the Boulevard, there's the IP. Oh, the Boomtown has a buffet open now. Boomtown, they have a buffet that's open now. Yep. You're welcome. Bye bye. I'm sorry. Okay. So where was I at? Talking about insurance. Okay, insurance. You usually start preparing for the insurance about 2 months before you renew. Let me see. Please don't hold the cell phone to your face. You usually prepare for insurance about 2 months before you renew. Okay, they come back and give you your quote. So they will tell you how much you need down, how much you're going to pay, and all this kind of stuff. And insurance has went up. Okay, and sometimes you're like shocked at what your insurance is going to cost you to cover you for the next year. Okay, that could have been one part of it. And the banks just decide that they're not going to back it. That's why all of a sudden you thinking that everything is fine and everything is okay, and then when it comes to your insurance and you're not able to cover that expense, um, that it's going to be a no go, right? Another thing is the rates. Ever since after we had that big boom after COVID and all that kind of stuff, guys, the rates have really went down. It wasn't the rates that we had where we was making all this money every week and all that kind of stuff. It went down. Your phone should not interfere with your. I know, but I thought that was somebody important. I apologize. Okay. I mean, give me grace. Can I have some grace? Okay. Thank you. I don't do live feeds that much, but I thought it was very important to come and talk about a trucking company closing, okay, and some of the reasons why a trucking company closed, okay. One of the other things is, guys, the rates haven't been the way it was. Contracts competition is more and more. Everybody's underbidding everybody, so you're not able to get, and your costs. Okay, your cost is a big factor in how you run your company. Okay, so I think those are some of the type issues that was going on as well. And also a lot of times your people. Okay, anytime you have a large staff, large people amount, people can run your company into the ground. I do know that I think he retired in like 23 or whatever the case may be, and turned the company over to his son or whatever. But it's this market, guys, is so hard to hang on in. And that is why it's so difficult for me as a person to grow, because you have to be able, if you don't have a strong backing behind you, and everybody is tight right now, like everybody, like banks, it's hard for you to get money, it's hard for you to do the things that you want to do, it's hard for you to grow, it's a lot. Okay, and when you're dealing with a trucking company that has over 250 trucks, you know sometimes it's just a matter of time, because one thing you can't get over is that insurance, the rates, you can't do anything about the competition. You bidding on stuff, everybody's outbidding you, and you're scrambling, searching around for different, things. What can you do? So I do know that there was a email sent out to the drivers big office, and yeah, they moved. I think they moved. They tried to do a lot of things to cut the cost. I think they moved the office that they had in what it was it St. Louis or something back to Madison or whatever the case may be. I don't know because I hadn't been there, so I can't speak on that. Um, but I do know as a company when I was there, it was very family oriented. It was, we just like our little niche or whatever the case it was. Okay. Now, as far as drivers are concerned, I know that drivers got a, you know, I do know that drivers got one thing that LTI did that previous companies, didn't do was when they closed their doors, people were stranded. They wasn't able to get home. So I think the banks wanted them to everybody just turn in their trucks at the closest freight liner or whatever the case may be. But he told the drivers to actually go home, empty out their trucks, and then if there was a Freightliner dealership that was close in their area, to please go take the trucks and turn them in there. Also told them that if there was a Ritchie Brothers um, that was in their area as well, to please take the trailer to Ritchie Brothers. Okay, so the trucks go back to Freightliner and the trailers go to Ritchie Brothers to be auctioned off. Okay. And that will save a lot of costs as far as them getting the trailers there at that time. As far as I know, drivers was able to, go home, get their stuff out, clean out the trucks or whatever the case may be. As far as I know, drivers was able to be paid on Friday. So they still got paid on Friday. Okay. As far as I know, drivers was also offered a additional amount of money, like I think $200 or something, that they was offered to take the truck. Miss Joanne was a beautiful person. I loved her. Okay. Drivers was also able to. They gave them like an additional $200 to drop off the trailers. Um, and I don't know if they gave them that money to drop off the trucks as well. So under these circumstances, I know a lot of it was like just all of a sudden, but they tried to scramble and do whatever they could as far as getting the drivers back home and trucks turned in. Okay. Now, the sad part about it is people lost their jobs. Okay. That's never a good thing. People in the office lost their jobs. Um, the drivers lost their jobs. Now they got to scramble and find somewhere else to work. Okay. And also, y'all know it takes time. You got to do your background check. You got to put in your application. You got to go to orientation. So it could be a couple of weeks before you're able to go on to your new employment. Another thing is that if you was at LTI and you had any issues and LTI took you as a driver, then that's going to make it a whole lot more difficult for you to be able to go somewhere else. Okay. So that's the downside of it. As far as being a company driver, people been there for a long time that really love that company. Now, let's talk about lease. Whenever you're a lease purchase driver, okay, and something like this happens to a company, it's a no-win situation. Okay, so that's who I feel bad for as well, is the lease purchase drivers, especially those who are close to paying off their truck. They would have had to turn it back in, and all that money is lost. Okay, so you don't have any type of recourse when it comes to being a lease driver, and you have put in all that money, all that time. You may be halfway through paying for your lease, and you got to turn all that money that you paid for, whether it's 40, $30, 40, $50,000, that money is gone. And that's the sad part about it, because you don't have no recourse. Now, what I was told was that they told the lease purchase drivers to go and try to see if they can purchase a truck from Diamond Chrysler, the people that finance Freightliners. Okay, that's very difficult to do, and the reason why is, if you're able to finance a truck through the Freightliner, you would have did that in the first place. You would have leased the truck, right? So now you got to go and try to talk to Freightliner and see how can you qualify to get your own truck that you've been paying for the last 3 years. So that's why we really frown upon um, leasing. Okay, I may have, y'all may have heard me say or talk and say that I was having an opportunity that I would be able to take over a bunch of trucks, okay, under my authority. That's what we was trying to do as well. We was trying to move those trucks from under LTI authority under my authority. But the biggest, when I looked at the numbers, guys, it just did not make sense for me as an owner of a small company, and it did not make sense for a lease purchase drivers. Okay, the plan came to something like you was going to do $900 a week for 12 months, and then after that you owned your truck out free and clear. The thing about that is, if they knew that they was going under, because this was just a couple of months ago, if they knew that they was going under, why would you offer me that opportunity, knowing if I would have took it, everybody that I would have brought on under my authority would have lost their trucks, because I was getting the trucks from LTI. So if LTI got to turn the trucks in, that would have meant me turning the trucks in. I'm losing a big investment. Everybody loses. Okay. So I came and I sent a message out to you guys on Facebook, and I said, after careful consideration, I decided to decline on the deal. And the reason is number one, to be honest, I do not have the capital to take on 20, 30, 40, 50 trucks. I do not. Okay. I don't have the backing behind me, because you would need investors to back you on that. You would need banks to back you on that. And also, I would need to have to find the drivers for those trucks. And that takes time. It's not going to happen overnight, right? So, another thing is, the insurance company that I have will not let me grow like that. Okay. The insurance company that I have will only let me grow 5 trucks at a time. And they will look at you to be able to grow. You're not going to be able to grow like that, just instantly take on 20, 30, 50 trucks um, when you haven't done that. Now, if I had 50 trucks and I want to take on 20 more, then they may look at me and say, hey, look at my portfolio or whatever the case may be, and say, hey, we'll go ahead and back you to do that. But I only have 3. So it was very impossible for me to do that. Right. So I did say to you guys, I've been working behind the scenes trying to figure out, because y'all kept saying, what company, what company, what company? And I didn't want to say. And that is the reason, because if it doesn't go through, it's no use to telling you what company it is, right? So that fell through. Okay. Another thing was focusing on the brokerage. Okay. They was going to focus on the brokerage and start letting some of the trucking part of it go. Okay. So in my mind, I'm thinking, do you notice, like, because we talked about this like 6 months ago, a year ago, working on this stuff. So all this time, do these people know that it's not going to be a trucking company anymore? You know what I'm saying? Or that y'all moving in a different direction? Because that would be nice for them to know, especially being a lease driver. You know what I'm saying? And if I would have took that deal, let's just say I would have said, okay, yeah, send me 10 trucks. Okay, I'm gonna put them under my authority or whatever. And I did that, and I put these drivers in them trucks, and y'all knew all this was going on. I would have been out a lot of money. Okay. So I turned the deal down just because of that reason. Number one, the lease deal was not a good deal. Okay. Number two is I don't have the capital to cover that many trucks. Okay. Number three is you have to find the drivers, have time to hire those drivers before you start making payments and stuff like that on trucks like that. So I turned it down. Um, so the shocker was the trucking company closing, right? My biggest thing is the lease drivers losing everything. Everything that they worked so hard for, gone. Okay. Now, let's talk about the brokerage. Hello, that's where I come in. Okay. So I'm a carrier and I'm on the brokerage side. Okay. So I'm on the brokerage side and I run dedicated account. I run an account for LTI. Okay, been running it for 2 months. Okay, since February. Okay, so I was like, okay, let me try this out. I'm not, and it will let me know what the numbers actually are before I consider taking trucks. Okay, because you could say one thing but do another. If the numbers is right, then if the numbers is right, then I'll consider, okay, let me get 2 trucks. Let me get another truck or whatever. But I don't know how the numbers are going to be unless I run the loads myself. Okay. So got a dedicated account, nice account. Okay. Going from Georgia to North Carolina back. Okay. Nice account, no problems, no issues. Picked up the trailer, get the load, whatever the case may be. So when I call and I'm like, okay, look, what's going on, y'all? Because y'all ain't saying nothing. Drivers are getting emails talking about turning in their trucks and the company is closing. Like, what happening? Up until Friday, okay, it was told that, oh, don't worry about it. It's just a truck inside. Doesn't have anything to do with the brokerage. I said, gotta have something to do with the brokerage because I'm looking at a bill. Okay. Usually, the brokerage, pays on the bill. So if you're getting if the bill is getting high, something is going on. 30 days, okay, maybe. Okay. But once you get up to 60 days and there's not been a payment, I'm worried. But I'm like, I got factoring. That's another thing, guys. If you are carrying, I know some of you do not like having or dealing with factoring companies, but this is a prime example that if you're a carrier and you are running for a brokerage, okay, you need to have factoring because you never know when that company is going to go out of business. Okay. So you can accumulate a debt of over $50,000 in just 2 months. And if I did not have factoring and a non-recourse, okay, I would be on the hook for all of that money. Okay. So that's something that they don't tell you. Okay. And I'm just one carrier. Okay. So the brokerage has, I don't know how many carriers that run low. And some of the carriers will choose to float the bill. Okay. Some carriers may be large enough, okay, to be like, we don't need no factory. We factor our own bills. For example, let's just say LTI is a brokerage. Okay. Let's just say Prime is the trucking company, not Prime Logistics, but Prime the trucking company. Okay. Let's just say LTI brokerage, Prime has a relationship. They two refrigerator companies. Prime goes and runs LTI loads, right? They're not going to factor those loads. Prime is a huge company. Prime's going to take that bill and they just going to wait to get paid, right? So all of a sudden, you start off with maybe $50,000. Okay. no payment, right? Okay, no problem. Maybe they just slow the pay or whatever the case may be. Increase the credit limit because in the past there hasn't been any issues of non-payment. So why wouldn't we increase the limit? Now you at 75,000. Now you at 100,000. So and that could be just one truck. Okay, that could be a couple of trucks. So when you get to that point, you're like, okay, wait a minute, what's going on? It's been over 60 days. There's no payment coming in. Da 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 da. This is the kicker. They start kicking stuff back, saying you need this, you need that, you need that. We didn't get this to have any excuse of no payment, right? That's the game. So now all of a sudden you done gave out this company all this credit. 50,000 over here, 75,000 over here, 100,000 over here. Ain't no telling because there's 50 million factoring companies. There's 50 million carriers. Okay. Anybody that could have ran a load on the brokerage side and didn't have factoring, okay, as of February, there was no payments coming in. Okay. So now I get a letter. All right. I get a letter. And that's why a lot of times too, what Herc says, when it's not made like we know what's going on behind the scenes or whatever the case may be, but if it's not made public and don't nobody know about it, they know about the cancellation about it's going to be canceled like in April or May or whatever the case may be, but that's normal. People don't usually freak out about that because they just renew their insurance and it gets replaced, right? But when social media gets a hold of it, people like freight waves and all this kind of stuff, people pay attention. So guess who's looking at that? The factoring companies, the carriers. They're like, wait a minute, oh my goodness. So from Friday, they went from paying for loads, okay, to Monday getting a letter saying, we don't need y'all to invoice LTI directly because we have cut off their credit. So no matter if you deliver the load or not, okay, no matter if you deliver the load, okay, because our loads are delivered, okay, as of any loads that was between Thursday up until Monday, and you ran and you delivered those, you will not be paid on those. Okay. The only way that you will get paid is you have to invoice. If you have a factoring company, you are going to have to invoice LTI directly. So, what does that mean? Stand in line with everybody else because you are not the only one that they owe. So, as a carrier, having a non recourse um, factoring company protects you. If you have a true non-recourse factoring company, it protects you from having to pay. If I did not have a non-recourse factoring company, I would be out of $54,000 right now. Okay. So right now I'm only out of $3,800. Okay. And that's just with me, one person, 54,000. Okay. That's not a joke. That's not funny. That's not anything. Um that affects a lot of businesses. And that's the thing, Val. I didn't understand why they didn't go ahead and file chapter 11 because everybody is on whatever kind of bankruptcy it is because everybody's finna get in line. It's like everybody, when Freight Waves made the announcement Thursday morning, And see, this is how freight waves know that you try to be hush hush about everything. You got to inform your drivers because you can't have your drivers just sitting out there. They ain't got no loads to pick up. Ain't no, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't. Can you keep the freight? No, that's against the law because the freight does not belong to LTI. Okay, guys, that's another thing. Please do not keep their trucks. Please do not keep their trailers. Please do not hold out on any loads. Okay, if you underload, deliver it. Okay, if you have a truck or a trailer, take it back if you can. Okay, don't play that game. Okay, you can't do the tit for tat. Okay, there's laws in place, and we have to go by that. Okay, there's laws in place, and we have to go by that. Now, I am going to share with you some options that you do have. Okay, if you are a carrier, lease drivers, I'm sorry, I don't have anything that I could tell you as far as holding on to your truck or anything like that. Okay, I can tell you make sure that you ask for your escrow. They will take it can take up to 45 days, but if they file chapter 11 or whatever the case may be, you will be in the waiting game and you will be in line to get paid just like everybody else. Okay, you will be in line to get paid just like everybody else. Okay, um, carriers, you if you have a factoring company and you have a non-recourse, lease driver is going to have to sue. About it's going to be an impossible. It's going to be impossible to sue someone that doesn't have money. Like if they don't have money to give you, what are you What are you suing? Like you can't get it if they ain't got it. I mean, you can get a judgment, but that's not helping you at any type. You might as well just stand in line. What we do on the carrier side is first you invoice the company. You give the company a certain amount of time to pay, right? They don't pay, you file on their bond. Okay. On a brokerage, you are required to have a $75,000 bond. That is a different in the that ain't enough to even cover almost mine. Okay. So I'm hoping that they have a large enough bond that will recover some of the costs. Now, what the factoring company will do, the factoring company will fight on your back. They're gonna fight, okay? Because you're just not going to not pay them the 50,000. Okay, they're gonna fight. Okay, each and every they probably is OTR, TVS. What are the other factoring companies out there? Okay, it's a lot of them. Okay, not only that, if I'm in line with Yellow and it's been 2 years already. Okay, so they're going to be in line. All the debtors going to be in line. Okay, to try to recoup, whatever their thing. I started noticing stuff when the what is that? You know, when you pay the lumper and every time they always pay the lumper and all that kind of stuff, and all of a sudden the machine don't work. Okay, the machine may not work one time. Okay, but when we go again and it's time to pay the lumper, just go ahead and pay it, and we'll pay you back. What's going on with the machine? Okay. So these are little red little signs, these little signs that come up when stuff ain't, whatever, whatever. But as long as you get paid, you keep moving. Okay, you keep it moving. But the factoring company's not getting paid. Okay, that's what that is. Okay. If you have a factoring company and you have a non-recourse, thank God for your factoring company because I know that 54,000 that would just tear me apart. Okay, that would tear me apart. No joke. Okay, and that is I'm only owed out of pocket right now to date $3,800. Okay, and that was from the last two loads. Okay, and we just bobtail back. and we turned in the trailer. And also, carriers, this is another thing that you can do. Remember, you are a carrier. You have the same insurance. You have the same you are able to run that load anyway itself. So what is the option for you? Going directly to the shipper. Okay. So how do you make lemons? How you make lemonade out of lemons? Okay. 38 $3,800. I probably won't see that for a long time. There's people that's owe hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay. Unless somebody said, here, Tamara, here's a check or whatever the case may be. I'm not counting on it soon. Okay. But what I can do is you can go directly to the shipper. Okay. They already know the company's going out of business. So instead of paying them directly and the money going nowhere, hey, Mr. Shipper, I took care of your load. I did my drop. I did everything that you wanted me to do. I got the paperwork signed. I have the paperwork. I'm going to either send you, if you're not right there with the shipper or by the shipper or whatever, I'm going to send you the paperwork. Would you please direct that payment to me? Okay, because I am the one. They're not going to pay it. My factoring company has already stopped credit with this company, so there's no way for me to get my payment. Would you please pay me directly? Okay, 9 times out of 10, that shipper is going to pay you directly, and the reason why is they are thankful that you delivered their load. They're thankful that there wasn't no issues and no problems, and you got that product there. Whether that company went out of business or whatever, you still handled your business. So you always got to be a professional at all times. Okay, you can't help what LTI is doing. You can't help what they got going on. Okay, but you can establish that relationship with that shipper from now on because you, as a professional, delivered and did what was expected of you. Okay. So what did I do? How do I make lemonade out of lemons? Okay. This is an opportunity. Okay. Guess what? Now we cut out the middleman and I work directly with the shipper now. Okay. So Tamara, all we need is just send me your certificate of insurance, send me your authority, send me, everything that you have. Just like I was able to run the load for them, I can run it for the I missed the beginning, but there are any signs and how far back. Um there was signs. I would say about a year, 2 year and a half maybe. There was signs, but I did not think that it would just be all of a sudden. For it to be all of a sudden, it had to be some investors or some banks or somebody said, "Oh, we're not doing this. I don't care." Da 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 da. This is what it is. It don't look like we getting our money back and we pulling out. For it to be like that, okay, that's drastic. Okay, a lot of times companies work behind the scenes and they're able to resolve the issues and you'll never know about it. Okay, but when your banks and your investors and the signs started when they built that new building. I don't know what new building it was. um I don't know, but this company has been around for a long time. I don't know what happened that everything, like I tell you, insurance rates, um the building in Madison. I work for FFE and my friend is still there, but they seem to be struggling. I don't know. It was some signs. I can only tell you I haven't been to LTI in about 4 years. Closed down brand new building terminals after like a year. They built a new building in Madison. Okay, I never seen it. I haven't been there like 4 years. Lots of changes. Yeah, I haven't been there in 4 years, so I can't speak on what they did or how they did it or what they spent or what they didn't spend. Um, 50 years in the but but as a carrier, okay, as a carrier, you can go directly to the you can go directly to the shipper, and you can ask the shipper, could they pay you directly, and also ask, could you still run the lane if you like the lane. So those are some things that you could do as a carrier to be able breaking ground on it when I left in early 22. Yeah, I was gone then too. So I don't know. Only thing that I can speak of is on the brokerage side. Okay. But we was told that the brokerage was fine, and there wasn't any issues with that until Friday. And when Friday came, it was the brokerage is closing as well. So um, it happens, and you just have to be prepared because anything in trucking, anything can happen, right? So you just have to be prepared. So thankfully, if you have a factoring company, the factoring company is going to fight your battle for you. If you don't have a factoring company and you have money owed, then you will have to invoice them directly. You may be able to recover some of your money. Um, hey, Miss Pearl, you may be able to recover some of your money through the shipper, and you may be able to get the contract yourself. Okay, so those are some of the things that can happen, right? And then you move on, and don't focus on, they had a good run, they had a good company, and they built it up to 250 drivers. So, that's a lot to be proud of, a lot to be thankful for. A lot of people can't even do that, but they did it. Unfortunately, the situation happened where it wasn't able to be continued, and you got to do what you got to do. But they did not leave drivers on the side of the road. They did not leave drivers stranded. They did what they could as far as getting the drivers home, and everybody got paid on Friday. Everybody that did what they were supposed to do, work or whatever the case may be, got paid on Friday. Okay, so that's to me um, um, the best that you could do. When it's out of your hands and your hands are tied, ain't nothing you can do. So it's very unfortunate but we as drivers, we know how to get up. Thankfully, there's many trucking jobs out there. Okay. I remember your first lease. You had many problems. I believe you said they helped you out. Yep. Yeah, they did. When I got my Freightliner Cascadia, um, it broke down. Like I think a year after I had it, or what was it, a Kenworth? Okay. I had a Kenworth, whatever it was, I forget. But the truck broke down or whatever. It was having so many problems. And I was like, I'm not finna start a lease all over again because I was already um and at least they were able to get those people home and pay them. That's right, they did that. So can nobody say they didn't do that? Unfortunately, the company went out of business. I had a T680, right? The T680 broke down. I don't know, it was done. They said it was done, and I would have to give another Freightliner. I mean, I would have to give another truck, and I was like, look, y'all, I've been in this lease for 2 years. I'm not willing to start over. They wanted to put me in like a brand new truck and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I can't do another 4 years because it would be 6 years for me to pay off my truck. I said, I can't do it. I was getting ready to pack my bags and go to another company because I was just worn out. You know what I'm saying? Like it gets you when you got to start over and keep starting over and starting over and starting over. And I was like, I can't do it. So they called me in and they said, "Do you want a new truck?" And I was like, "No, I want no new truck, right?" And I would take an older truck, so that's why I got the 16. So I got an older truck, and they said, well, what we'll do is we'll take the money that you paid on the first truck that you had, and we'll put it towards the 2016 Freightliner. I said, so I don't have no more 4 years. They said, no, we'll take that money, put it over to the 2016 Freightliner, and you will pay your truck off on time. Okay. So that's why I stayed. I was like, cool. I had 2 more years anyway. I rock it out and I still come out with a truck, right? Did everything that I was supposed to do. And that was it. Out of there with a truck. So I can't, yeah, and the only oh, do you remember that, huh? The only interruption I had was trying to get that title. Okay. So I had 2 more years on the truck. I came in there and I was like, I'm ready to pay my truck off. I'm ready for my title. Da 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 da. I was so happy. I was so happy. And I went in there and they said, uh, we're gonna have to talk to you. And I'm sorry, talk to me about what? Here's my money, here's the rest of my money. I come to pick, I'm ready to go. I was tired. And they said we can't give you the title. And I said, what you mean you can't give me the title? Listen, I done made these payments. We done got down to here. I only have $4,000 left, and here's the $4,000. I done told everybody. What you mean you can't give me my title? They said we can't give you the title because we still owe $30,000 on the truck. Lord have mercy. You talking about having a come to Jesus meeting, and my heart just dropped. Like I was like, no, I know y'all not doing this to me. I know, no, 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 no. This is not happening. This, that, and the third. And I was like, I can't do. I was drained emotionally. I was like, I cannot do it. My mind wasn't even there anymore. My mind was, I was on to something else. My mind was leaving, going somewhere else. I mean, not going somewhere else, but starting my own business, my brokerage, my authority. And I was like, I was devastated. I was embarrassed. I was like, how am I going to tell? What am I going to say? You know? So I ended up putting a driver in my truck. Y'all all know that. And I end up working as a recruiter until I think, did I have 6 more months or a year or whatever? And until I was able to get the title to the truck. So I think it was like 6 more months or something like that. And I finally was able to get the title to my truck. When I got the title to my truck, was it a year? A year. They know. Certain people know. Okay. It was a year. I had to put somebody in my truck and have them work. The first person that I tried to put in the truck, child, let me tell you something. I paid them like 200, and so they made you pay the $30,000. I don't think it was 30,000 that I paid, but I paid. What's 500? What 500 times four? What's 500 times four? And let me see, for 12 months. So I paid 500 times four. That was 2,000 a month times 12, like 24 or 20 or something like that. So I was in the hospital when they eventually told me that that I could get the title to the truck. So I waited to that date, and that was the hardest struggle because 2400, yeah, 24,000. So I end up was able to um um get that truck paid off, and I brought it home. So I was in the hospital when they told me that they had my title. So it was heartbreaking. Okay, but yet still, I did what I had to do. So I did it and I left, and not too many people knew about that. Okay, so yeah, not too many people knew about that. But you talking about somebody crying, baby? I was depressed. I cried. I was like, I'm done. Um, I was ready to fight. I was ready to fight somebody that day, but I couldn't. Like you can't. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta have control of your emotions. And it's something when people start calling you into the office and everybody else gone and you there by yourself. You like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm all happy because I'm gonna get my paperwork. I'm all happy for I'm gonna get my paperwork and everybody else is gone. I'm expecting folks to be around saying congratulations and all this kind of stuff. I get down to the office, ain't nobody there. And that right there, that hurted me to my core. You hear me? That hurted me to my core. But I did what I had to do. I kept it pushing. At the end of the day, I was able to get the truck and I left. And I didn't let it stop me, and I kept going to do what I need to do. You make me look forward to one day paying off the truck. I see a light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, it's hard, but man, I'll tell you, that is not. If I had to do it all over again, I couldn't do it. I wouldn't have the strength, the energy, the time, nothing, because it takes so much away. You're away from home, the holidays. I had my sister, my niece passed away, my sister passed away, my brother passed away. Like it was just death was just everywhere. And it was just hard. It was draining, it was emotional. And all I wanted, I didn't care about nothing else. All I wanted was my truck. That's all I wanted. I didn't care about nothing. That's it. So I was eventually able to finally get the title. And I just went from there. And I was like, okay, now let's start this brokerage. Let's start this authority. And that was one of the scariest things of my life, starting an authority, because it's like, what if things don't go right? But like I tell you, like I tell everybody, God is not going to put you in a situation that you ain't going to be able to come out of. So even though sometimes you may be scared or fearful, that don't have that doubt, just go for it, because you will never know if you don't try. If that's something that you want to do, don't let nobody stop you. If you want to get your truck, if you want to get it paid for, if you want to go get your authority, don't be afraid to step out there. Sometimes you have to step out on faith. Um you don't know how you're gonna make it sometimes. But you just keep going. Like sometimes I just keep going. I don't know. Diva, how you do this? How you do? I don't know. I just keep waking up and doing it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to stop. I don't know how to quit. I don't know how to give up. Um, Hard things are gonna come to you in life every day, and you just got to get through it. You got to push through it some kind of way, and maybe you're gonna cry, maybe you're gonna be upset, or whatever the case may be. But after you get through crying, after you get through being upset, it's time to go to work. It's time to figure stuff out. And that's how I live. And I don't let nobody tell me to, you shouldn't do that. Why you doing that? You taking on too much. How you do? I just okay. Do you do brokerage training? No, not yet. I don't think I'm a train. I think what I'm gonna let people do is if they have experience, I think I'm gonna let them just go ahead and come under the brokerage. If they have experience, they have a book of business. I ain't gotta teach. I ain't gotta tell you nothing. You know how to move loads. You got clients and everything. Then just work. Just go. Just work. Just perform. You know. Um, because I can't take I don't have that time to be hands on like that anymore. But if you like, hey, I've been working for Landstar for 5 years, I've been working for this brokerage for 5 years, and I know how to move freight, and I got a list of clients, and you know how to do your credit checks, and you know how to move the freight, and you know how to put the loads on the load board, and you know how to give out your rate cons, and you know how to get your drivers paid. You know, the factoring company pay your drivers, so you don't have to worry about that. So when you're on a brokerage, right? What the agents do is they make their calls all day with the shippers, and they establish relationships with the shippers. Okay, so then when they get their shippers, the shippers will send loads over every day. So their job is to post those loads and move those loads. So you develop a relationship with carriers, so you can call on them or whatever to post the load. So if you find a carrier that will move your load, you want to keep that carrier name, phone number, and whatever, because that load may be coming out 5 times a week, or 3 times a week, or whatever. So if you got somebody running that load for you one time, it's a good chance that they may run it for you again. And if you are able to establish a lane for them, right, then you got somebody that's making money that's in a lane and they ain't got to go 48 states. Okay. Drivers love that. If you able to keep them moving, if they're able to make money and you don't have them going all over the United States to make a couple of dollars, baby, they will stay with you for, they be calling you. Diva, you got that Georgia, the Ohio, you know, when I was having lumber and I had steel and all this kind of stuff, drivers would get up in the morning, and I want the agents to be transparent. I want them to be like, I want them to like have your back, like, hey, I got you, this, that, and the third. And what's the best way to get into brokering? Would be like, it's hard because everybody wants you to have a book of business, um, but it can be done. Like, they offer train when you go for a training class. Like if somebody's teaching a broker's class, right? Like what my lady BJ, y'all know Miss Lady BJ. Y'all know Freight Lady BJ, right? Freight Lady BJ is with Landstar. She's an awesome teacher. She's an awesome teacher. Okay. She's with Landstar. If you happen to take her class, you're gonna be with Landstar. Okay. So when you get finished, if it wasn't for us, there would be nobody. Right. You're right. Um, I just wish that when companies close down, and see, there's a law too, that if you have over a certain amount of companies, I mean, a certain amount of drivers or employees or whatever the case may be, you must give a 30-day notice before you close that trucking or that company down. And it doesn't seem like it relates to trucking in any kind of way. Okay. Because when a trucking company goes under, they ain't announcing it to nobody. Okay. You won't know until the day of, until everybody gets the message on the Qualcomm. That's when you gonna know. And you may be out, and that's why we tell you guys that always keep you a debit card on you, a $500. You always need enough money on you, in case you gotta rent a car, in case you gotta put some stuff in a car. when you be going out there on the road, don't be having your whole house out there, because that company can decide to close its doors. You live in Louisiana and you got a load in Washington, in Seattle somewhere. You are 4 days away from home. You got the TV, bedspreads, you got refrigerators and microwaves, you got all this stuff in your truck. Okay. Because you've been out there running. You don't go home but once a month. Okay. So you got all this stuff on your truck, and all of a sudden, company send you a message and it says, we cease operation. And you done paid all your bills. You got to have, you don't know what you're gonna do. They want to charge your arm and a leg to rent a car. Some of y'all can't even rent cars. You got to get a U-Haul because you got so much stuff in the darn truck to even get to the house. Okay, that's going to take money. A lot of drivers, they just have to leave everything that they have on that truck. They were, that's right, because most companies will not do what LTI did. You will be left on the side of the road. Yeah, he said that he was not going to, against the advice of the banks or whatever the case may be, he was not going to leave the drivers on the side of the road. So I respect that. It's an unfortunate situation, and I'm sorry that it happened, but I respect the fact that everybody got a chance to get home and everybody got paid on Friday. You can't do nothing but respect that. Now, there's some things that it's unfortunate, especially for these drivers, especially for the factoring companies, especially for the people that's owed. Okay, it's unfortunate, but these are the risks that we take. It can happen to anybody. Anybody can go out of business. Ain't nobody too big for the cause or whatever. Anybody. It can happen to anybody. Small, big, it don't matter. It can happen to anybody. So as a driver, you always have to protect yourself and always be able to, if you ever get caught up in a situation, to be able to, okay, this has happened. I got money on the card. I don't know what they doing, but I know what I'm doing. I'm going to whatever they tell you to do with the truck or whatever, try to do that. Try to remain professional, even though you may be angry, even though you may be upset, even though this is a punch in the gut. Okay. Try to always remain, yeah, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. We done seen other trucking companies go out of business, and it's always somebody else. It's always somebody else. It's Celadon, it's Yellow, it's somebody else. It's, what is it, Metal Lark. It's so many other companies, right? And at one time, it was just like every week a company was shutting down. Every week a company was closing their doors. Okay, so we haven't had I learned from my first lease, save, save, save. You're right. Even a lease or being a company driver, you always got to have that cushion on the side. If you have a prepaid card or whatever, don't allow anybody to put you in a situation that you cannot get back home to your family. Okay, that should be the main thing that you do. At least I can get back home. Okay, because I can do whatever getting back home. So, because they may not be able to do anything for you, they may tell you just to stop on the side of the road and um, get home the best way you can. Okay, that has happened. So you always got to prepare yourself and make sure that you have, I don't care if you live in Florida and you way up here in California somewhere, that you got enough money on you at all times, that if that company call you or send you an email or whatever the case may be tomorrow and say, we no longer in business, You say thank you, appreciate it, pack up your stuff or what you can, get you a rental car if you got a lot of stuff, and go on back to the house. If you got, but a lot of times I've been guilty of it as well. I got my TV, my microwave, for 2 years I lived out my truck. If KLLM went out of business, Lord have mercy, I would have to just throw all my stuff away. Because I had everything in the truck. So just be mindful of that you're able to get you a rental car or whatever the case may be, and be able to get home safely. It's not the end of the world. You'll be able to get another job, hopefully, and keep going. Especially, if you're a company driver, lease driver, we knew the risk. We know the risk. Okay, as a lease driver, we know the risk. It's unfair that we don't have any recourse as far as putting all that money into a truck, but we know that when we sign up for a lease, we know, and that's just not LTI. That's anybody. If anybody go out of business and you on a lease purchase, and you are 3 years out of the 4 years paying for your truck, it's highly likely that you will lose every dime that you put into that truck. Okay. Any questions for me before I go? But hopefully, drivers, you was able to get home. You're putting in your applications to get new jobs. Any update on the lease stuff you was talking about from the convention? Oh, lease purchase with the FMCSA. When you had everyone sending in statements and things. Yes. If you want to look right at the final report, there was a final report that was printed out with the FMCSA, that detailed everything of what we talked about as far as, and when I tell you that the committee is called the consumer protection, they was on the board. When I tell you that they came out with a report that detailed the lease purchase program, and they had numbers and they had everything, okay? And it was in detail. And at the end of the day, that's what changed my mind about leasing. It was that companies, small but few, did a good job at a lease purchase, and there was drivers that was actually paying their trucks off. It wasn't the majority. The majority of people was losing their trucks. The majority of people, it was a bad program. The majority, there's no rules and regulations in leasing, and everybody, it was the wild wild west, and whatever you put on the paper, whatever you said as a company goes. You have no recourse against anything. And there was a lot of things that I did not know that I learned through the meeting, like depreciation. Y'all supposed to get credit for uh, depreciation, like it's supposed to be listed on your contract. That wasn't being done. It was just a whole. They said that it was lease purchase was worse than the limit law with cars. You know how people sell your automobiles that wasn't worth anything? You have a better protection with the limit law for automobiles than you do for tractor trailer lease purchase when it came down to the law. It was recommended. I think the lease purchase would have been able to go away, because the next thing what the FMCSA does, it makes recommendations to Congress. Okay. So that's how laws and things get passed. That's how laws and things get changed, like, with the ELD and all this other kind of stuff that is changes in trucking. So what you do is you have a committee. The committee studies this stuff for, a year or two. Because remember, we was on that for about 2 years. Okay. And we was on that for about 2 years. And when they got through with the report, it was, oh my God, like everybody got it. The person that was over the FMCSA got it. His attorney, everybody got it. They understood what was going on in the industry to a T, and everybody was against it. And the recommendation was that the lease purchase program should be um, done away with completely, scratch, just don't have it no more at all. And that was the recommendation. So that would have went to Congress. Congress, somebody in Congress would have came up with something to make sure that this lease program go away. But remember, when we got through with the committee, guess what happened? Anybody know? Y'all know. What happened? When we got finished making a recommend, they no, they didn't check. They checked the whole administration changed. The whole administration changed. So you don't have the same people that was in office going for the get rid of the lease program. That's that's correct, Val. And with a new administration, you got new people. And now everything that you did, all the work that you did, all the recommendations that you did, guess what? None and void. You won't hear nothing else about it. It's gone. And who is that good for? Is that good for the drivers or is it good for the owners? Who is it good for? You will never see it again. Got to start all over. It's good for the owners, the trucking companies. That's what it is. It's gone. Go, just like that. Gone. Gone. Meetings after meeting, research, data. Yes. So, only thing that can be done is warnings, recommendations, and let you know do not even get yourself in that situation. Don't even get, but the report, if you really want to read the report, all you have to do is go under truck lease task force and the findings, and it will tell you there of what the FMCSA. Because when people started talking about it, they was saying that we was making changes and it was going away, and the committee has no legal ramifications on to do anything. They can't just say lease purchase go away. No committee could do that. Only thing a committee can do is make the recommendations. And the recommendations was made, and within 3 weeks, it's a whole new administration. And baby, that's it. That's it. So sometimes you try to do something that will be good for drivers, that putting away a program that really doesn't benefit the drivers, and making it illegal to have. Not right now. So people can do whatever they want. They can have whatever lease program they want to have. And our duty now is just to educate the public, educate the drivers. Please do not get into a lease program. And I try my best because I've been on the committee and I was like, maybe I could do something different. You know how you be like, maybe I could be different. Maybe I could do something different. It wasn't a win-win situation. It wasn't a win. It wasn't a win on my part, and it wasn't a win on the driver's part. So that's what happened. Any other questions that have? Look, y'all see I burnt myself cooking. Child, I'm in there. I got defeated. Yep, all that hard work. But yeah, I'm going to still running the trucks, doing the brokerage, trying to make lemonade out of lemons. Okay. Running a food truck. I took on a new business running a food truck. So if you want to lease, I have a company for you. Can show your settlements, and you will make your money. Just say fix credit and give. Oh, and another thing, guys. Also, if you do decide to lease, build up your credit while you're leasing. Okay. So with a situation like this, with the trucks going to Daimler Chrysler, wherever it is that they finance the Freightliners, if you worked on your credit while you are leasing, right? Get that up, and it doesn't have to be no 800 credit score. If you can at least get it up to about 650, okay, a little bit over 650, that give you a fighting chance, okay, and save a little bit of money. Don't have to be a lot of money. You could put like 4, 5 thousand down. You may have a chance. 640. Okay, 640. Just get it up to 640, 650, somewhere in there. 640, 650, they'll start to look at you. They'll be like, okay, wait a minute, look at you. Okay. Get it up to about 640, 650. Have you about 5,000 down. Okay. Somebody will finance you a truck. Okay, and make sure that it's a good place for you to get financing through, where you're making monthly payments. Okay, and that you could pay it off or whatever the case may be. But don't think that you got to have an 800 Lone Mountain. Seems to be decent. Yeah, like Lone Mountain is really easy to get approved for. I don't know if they go off your credit or not, but I do know, like, if you have, like, now they are, yeah, 3 to 15,000 down. You can get you a good little Freightliner payments, maybe what, 1,200, $1,300 a month. But you do have to have about $7,000 to $8,000 in the bank. They're gonna look at your bank account. They're not gonna give you no truck and you got $20 in the bank account. Okay. So yeah, you need double the money. So the bank account, so the four down, you need four. Say, okay. So if you put $4,000 down on the truck, you're gonna need to have $4,000 in your account. A lot of y'all can do that. That ain't no problem. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that difficult to go the other way as far as getting a truck. Especially now, right now, because the prices have seemed to level off and go back down. So you should be able. It's in. They got plenty of supply now, so you should be able to get a truck, and at least you will have a fighting chance, so that if a company does go out of business, you will be able to take a truck elsewhere. Okay, that's a whole big thing. Not being able to take a truck if something happens to the company. So, if you do get a truck from an outside company, you will be able to take that company wherever it is that you want to go. Not saying it's going to be easier, it is not. Leasing is hard, or financing, or whatever. Trucking is hard in general. Just don't know who to lease on to. There's plenty of companies that you can lease on um to take your truck to. I don't know. it's been so long since I've been doing anything with recruiting and knowing about companies. Like if I say a company, I don't know if they're good, bad, or indifferent. Okay. All I know is JB Hunt and USA. And that's because I run on the carrier side with them. Okay. So I don't know how they is on the owner operator side. I don't know if people making money. I don't know any of that. Okay, I haven't talked to drivers about their money or their settlements or anything. I wouldn't be if I told you I'd be lying. Okay, so but yeah, and then after you get your truck paid off, go ahead and get your authority. Go on and get it. I know a lot of y'all be like, I don't know, Diva. I ain't trying to. I don't know. I don't want to get my. Go on and get that authority. Okay, go on and put that couple of $1,000s down. You only gonna need about 3,500 put down, and your insurance gonna be about 1,300 a month. Okay, now you ain't really losing that because you ain't really losing nothing because the money that you were paying in your truck payment, you paying on your insurance now. Okay, get that authority, get your feet wet, you know, get have a challenge. Don't get out here and just get comfortable and be like, I done got my truck, I done paid off my truck, I got my lease on to such and such, I'm good. Go on and push yourself. Go on and go a step further. Okay? Take it on up there a notch. Go on and step out there with the big steppers. Yeah, but yeah, just run under, get your truck, pay it off, run under somebody else's authority for a year, whatever. See what they can do, how you doing, being an owner operator, whatever. Then go on and go for it. If that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to do, say, hey, I've been wanting to get my own authority, but I don't know. I don't, I don't know. If that's what you want to do, go for it. Go on and get it. What's gonna happen? You gonna fail? Okay, but at least you tried. You tried. Go on and do it. You might like it. It might be the best thing you ever done. You know. So go after whatever you want to do in this trucking. You only listen, y'all. You only got one life to live. So whatever it is that you want to do, just do it. Don't let nobody stop you from doing. Like I opened up a food truck. Okay. Now I've been in there with them commercial fryers and all this other stuff. I'm over there frying chicken. I was in a commercial kitchen. So I go to a commissary and I prepare the macaroni and cheese, the candy yams, the baked beans, the I do macaroni and cheese, collard greens, baked beans, collard greens, mac and cheese, and all my sides, right? So I'm in there, the oven is like big, right? It's a big double oven, and you got these huge pans. I ain't been in no kitchen like that in a while. And I opened up the door or something, and what can I get to get that off? I hit my arm on the oven when I was opening up. I was wondering why they had them big long gloves, mittens up in there, and I had just opened it up, and the thing of the oven hit my arm right there. I was like, oh my God. But you only get burned once, and then you know how to handle it. Shea butter, okay. I need to start putting that on. Cocoa butter, okay. I need to start putting that on to make that scar go away. But it was awful. I had a big old mark right here, and from cooking. So it's just a challenge, of what I can do. And I don't have a whole lot of business or whatever right now, but I not too long started, and I keep showing up. And I just got my menus and all that kind of stuff. I do. That was somebody calling for a plate. Y'all talking about don't be having no phone calls or your live feed, child. That was somebody calling for a plate. Talking about would you am I open? I'm coming to get a plate because I have my phone number on my menus, right? But I have nachos. I serve the nachos with chili and cheese and jalapenos. I had a crock pot for my chili and cheese. I have hot dogs with chili and cheese. I have what else? I have peach cobbler. I have sakatimi cake, and sometimes I will have banana pudding, right? And for my entrees, I have fish, catfish. You get two pieces of catfish. You get shrimp. You get four whole wings, or you get pork chops. Child, they love the pork chops, son. Them pork chops, you get two pork chops, thin pork chops with your two sides. You get a bread or hush puppies. You get a dessert and a drink for $15, and I'm happy. I'm off the truck and I'm happy. So it's something that I want to do, and I'm doing it. People say, "What you open up for? Why you opening up a food truck?" Because I want to. It's something I wanted to do, and I just decided to do it. So I might win, I might not, but I'm doing it. I only got one life to live, guys. So you might as well do what makes you happy. And I hope y'all will be able to come down one day and see me. They got the truck parking open at the IP. Y'all can walk down there. Yeah, the sky's the limit. Don't put boundaries on you on something you want to do. A lot of you guys have visions and dreams and things that you want to do. Just do it. Just go for it. Don't let nobody stop you. Like I said, you only got one life to live. And at least say, Diva, I tried. Child, I tried. That's all you could do. That's all you can do. Oh, well, guys, it's been an hour and 32 minutes. I enjoyed coming back, being able to talk to you all again. I have internet, so I'm able to check in with you guys. Y'all will see me go live at the food truck. But I thought that it would be good for me to come in, at least, since I did work at the company, to at least give you some insights of the drivers did get home. They did get their last checks. Some of the things that you can do if you owe money, and things like that. And we just keep it pushing. We keep it moving. They already have their issues and problems or whatever it is that they got to do. How much was your total investment for the food truck? The food truck cost $23,000. Okay, and I had a basic food truck. It's an 8x10. It has a two fryers, grill. I don't know how to use the grill yet. So I brought like a griddle thing to fry the hamburgers and stuff because I have hamburgers too. I got a warmer, the AC, and a fire suppression. Okay. That was that. So then you got to get the tags. So you get the tags on the truck. So then I wanted to set my truck up in Mississippi instead of Georgia because this is my hometown. I'm from Biloxi, Mississippi. This is my home. So I wanted to set it up down here. You got to get your permits. You got to get health department. You got to get food safety certificate, a manager certificate. That was like $170. That's a class you got to go to. I had to sign up with what it's called wholesale foods, where you go in and get your foods at the discounted price. I got a little freezer in there, and got a refrigerator in there where I keep my cold stuff, my pork chop. So what I do is I got an RV, so that's a backup as well. I got a commissary if I need to go down there and do my sides and stuff. So instead of having my sides like in pans and things like that, I have it in little cups, little styrofoam cups. So I'll put the macaroni and cheese in the cup, cover it. You got to label and date everything. They have expiration dates. I learned how to, for the first time, change the grease in the fryer. Oh my God. That was like, oh my God. You got to drain the grease out there. You got to get in there and clean out all that gunk. I hate that. I don't like seeing the brown grease. I spend a lot of money on oil because when you have fresh oil, the food tastes so much better. Like, and I'll be watching myself as how I'm coating stuff, because the more coating you put on stuff, all that stuff sinks to the bottom and it burns and it makes the food taste bad, right? So I change out my. So what I do is I was making a lot of sides. Oh my God, y'all! I would put a big old pan of I use that I use it's called fryer something. It's like a white powdery stuff that I put in the fryer with some hot water and I let it boil and everything. And that gets all the gunk and everything out of it. And then you drain it. And then I take a water hose and I spray that fryer out and get all that stuff. I like a clean fryer. And then when you pour that oil in there, it be so clean. It be so, oh, I love that. And then I used to make all these sides. Like I get a big old pan of macaroni and cheese, and I'm making a pan of macaroni and cheese, pan of baked beans, pan. I got a big old pot of collard greens. You don't go through all that in one night, okay? So what I've learned to do is I had to give a lot of food away, because who wants, 4 day old macaroni and cheese, okay? So a lot of stuff I had to give to the homeless shelter that is like down the street, and I learned to cut back. So now when I make macaroni and cheese, it'll be like a half a pan, and I'll put up like five at a time or whatever. And when I'm out, I'm out. But at least it's fresh. Okay. Potato salad. I put like, five at a time. I don't do a whole lot unless it's an event or something like that. Then I may have 10. Okay. But once it's out, it's out, because I don't like having a lot of leftovers. So, but like with the fish and stuff, um, with the fish, I'm able to keep it in the freezer. So I section out all my the catfish is not in no big container. It's sectioned in individual uh Gladlock bags. So I put two pieces in each thing. So whenever I go out to the truck, I'll grab like about 6 or 7 catfish, 6 or 7 shrimp, 6 or 7 pork chops, 6 or 7 chicken wings, and they all in individuals. So when I'm ready for it, it's in the refrigerator, and all I gotta do is open it, season it, fry it. Don't nobody want no catfish and food that's already cooked. So I cook the order. So when you come and order from me, you can either call me ahead of time and I have it ready, or I cook it while you're there. It doesn't take me that long to cook because it's a big deep fryer and it cooks really fast. But I cook the order, so you got to have at least about 5 to 7 minutes. So you get your sides are already ready. It's just that I gotta drop the fish, the chicken, or the shrimp or whatever, and then I put your two sides on there. I got a warmer that I keep the hot food in, and then you get your roll or your hush puppies. I got cake. Sometimes I'll have lemon cake, socket to me cake, um, and then I have peach cobbler and banana pudding, and then they have a big old chest of drinks, and they just reach in and get their drink. And that's how it's been going. And people been stopping by, ordering their food, and they just kind of getting used to me, being there. So, and I think I'm just going to do it for the summertime. And then after the summer, I'm going back home and focus on the brokerage, focus on always building that. But I want the brokerage to be able to run where I don't have to be hands on. Like the agents, they do their thing. They just they work, do their thing. Long as they moving lows, fine. Everybody get their credit limits. Everybody move their lows. Everybody do their thing, and all they gotta do is turn it in and get paid at the end of the week or whatever the case may be, and everybody happy. So, but yeah, I'll focus more on that. But I'll teach you everything that I do, right? I don't have to have a class, but I will teach you everything that I do. Okay. And you can learn as I do it. Y'all see me make calls. I can be on the phone making calls. I can show you how I move a load. I'm not interested in like really like going back to like teaching like that. It takes a lot of time, a lot of work. And sometimes people find out that they don't like doing being an agent. Like it sounds good, right? Until you actually have to do it. And it's like I gotta get up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning and be calling these people. Yeah. They hanging up the phone. You can't get in touch with nobody. Yeah. I done made this diva. I done made 50 calls and I can't get in touch with nobody. Yeah. That's how it is. It sounds glamorous, don't it? It's when you talk about, oh, I'm brokering and I'm moving loads and I'm this and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Sound real good, don't it? Oh, I want to do that. I want to move loads. I want to be a broker until you become a broker. You're like, wait a minute. I ain't signed up for all this. Miss, I had some people, Miss Tamara, these people calling me at 9, 10 o'clock at night. I be trying to get my sleep. Welcome to brokerage. Drivers don't stop driving at time you get off. Okay. When they have an issue and they have a problem, the first person that they're gonna reach out to is the broker. You got to have 24-hour access. If I text you at 9 o'clock at night and tell you, hey, these people want $250 for the monthly fee, I'm gonna need you to respond if you're the broker. Okay, I'm gonna need you to say, here's your account data number. Okay. But yeah, brokering it can be fun, especially when you moving loads and stuff like that. But you don't do that when you first get started. When you first get started, baby, you struggling. You on the grind. You getting it out the mud. Y'all heard that? Getting it out the mud. You literally be getting it out the mud. You the newcomer. You the new person on the block. Don't nobody want to talk to you. Who is you? But you got to keep showing up. You got to get up every day. You got to keep. Can I drive the truck and be the agent? You can, but you're gonna be Superman or Superwoman trying to do all that. Okay, because brokerage starts at 7, 6 in the morning. Because you got East Coast time, you got Central time, you got all this other time. It starts early in the morning, and at the end of the day, if you didn't get one shipper, you got to get up the next day and try it all over and do it all over again because you ain't talked to everybody. And you're gonna get a whole lot of no's before you get one yes. Okay, that's what you got to understand, and that right there can break a person. Okay, just imagine yourself getting up calling 50, 60 people at a time every day, Monday through Friday, and ain't no money coming in, and you ain't moving no loads, and you can't get nobody, and then you hear such and such. They got 2 shippers, they got 3 shippers, they moving freight, they doing this and they doing, and you getting discouraged because it's not happening for you like that. That's what happens in brokering and being an agent. But you have to be agents be posting loads all night long. Right. People and we be calling, and it's crazy, and at the beginning you ain't making a whole lot of money off these loads because you just want somebody to move it. Because if you can get somebody to move it, you in the dough. The shipper gonna be depending on you to get that load moved. So you like the load paying $800 and you may give it to them for 750 and you take $50. You just trying to get the business and you doing whatever you can to get the business. And then here you come in and you like, the ship ain't paying that much. They only want to pay $2 for the load. Ain't no money really in there for you. The driver ain't gonna run it for $2 a load. Now you got to go back to the shipper and ask them, can I get 50 more cents? You like begging. Can I please? If you just give me 900, they gave you 800. Can you give me 900? If you could just give me 900, I can get it moved for you. Now you got to go and talk to a driver that's been out here for 15, 20, 30 years, and you telling him $800, and he gonna come back and tell you, I can't do it for no $800. I can't do it for nothing less than 950. And you ain't even got 950 in the load. So what you gonna do? The only driver that called you back or called about the load said they can't do that load for nothing but 950. They'll run it, they right there. And if you could get 950, they can run it for you. You only got nine in the load. Now you done already brought him up from 800 to nine. Now what you gonna do? You got a driver that's gonna take it for 950. Shipper done gave you $900. Okay, and he getting kind of frustrated with you because he done got this load moved before, and he don't understand why you can't move it. Okay, so now you got to go back and finesse him a little bit and be like, look, listen, the driver is about 15 minutes away, and the driver is right there, and he ready to get it right now. Can I get 1,000 for the load? Because you got to get some money out the load, okay? Home driver over here say he need 950. Okay. Now if you get him, you only got 900. So you're gonna at least need to get an extra $100 so you could get at least $50. Okay. Now this is taking up all your time. Now you going back and forth with the driver and the shipper, and the shipper, the deadline is getting late, and he know he need to get that load moved. He gonna say, I'll send it over for 1,000. All right, now you got to get this driver back on the phone. Listen, I got you 950. Listen, I got you 950. Here you 950. I'm getting ready to send you a rate confirmation. Oh, that was 2 hours ago. I done already got a load now. You still saying that? Baby, when I tell you being a broker or being an agent is stressful, it really is, especially when you first start. But once you get through it, once you get through that learning curve, and once you get to um, knowing what you're doing or whatever the case may be, it's going to come natural to you. Because you know what? You're going to build up a rapport with your shipper, and you're going to build up a rapport with your driver. And before you know it, shipper gonna know. All right, Tim, I already know what you need. $1,000. Now you know I need 1150. Don't even play. You know I need 1150. Why you playing? It was $1,000 last week. Gas done went up. We gonna need 1150 to move this load now. I had a good carrier last time. You gonna give me this 1150? Okay, Tim, if you get moved for 1150, I get 1150. Now you back over here. Driver say, I got you 950. No, it was 950 last week. I'm gonna need 1,000 this week. Okay, I done got 1150. Okay. It was I done got 1150. So I'm good. I done got 150 out the low. You gonna take it for 1,000? I got 1150, I got $150. You gonna everybody happy. Right? Shipper happy. I get $150. Driver get what he asked for. He just got $50 more from last week. Okay? We cool. Load get moved, freight get delivered, and we can live another day. Child, you going to work your butt off for 50, 150, 100, and all this kind of stuff. Don't think that you come out here and you're an agent and the low you just gonna be making money hand over fist. But it just not gonna happen like that. You got to build yourself up. You got to build up. You got to get the relationship with your drivers. You got to get your relationship, and you got to show your worth. Show your worth. You prove your worth. You prove that you can move these loads. You prove that you got these drivers. Maybe they give you what you want. Tara, I need you to get this done for me. I got you. Can I get 1,500? And then it becomes a relationship, and then you can let your guard down, and you can laugh, and you can talk, and here you come, Tara. How much money you want now? How much money you want today? Listen, I'm gonna need at least 1,700. And then you start to enjoy it. Then you have fun. You know what I'm saying? Um, Yeah, your worth. You know what you need to do. You know what the drivers want. You try to get it out the shippers, and to be able to get that out of them and make it work and make that deal go through. That's the satisfaction. That's where you're like, darn, I really worked it today, man. And you might only got $100. Okay, but you felt like you got 1,000. Okay, the way you was negotiating and going on. Okay, but greater comes later. You always are going to be able to increase and build on that. And don't look at that $100. I only made $100 a week, but that was only one customer. Okay, so now you got to work and do 5 loads a day. Now you got to do 7 loads a day. Now you wake up in the morning and baby, the phone is ringing off the hook because everybody calling you. Tell me, you got that loan from Georgia to South Carolina? Yeah, I got it. Can I get it for such and such? Well, I ain't got such and such in there, but I can get you for this. You want it? You can have it. Here you go. And then you build up a rapport. You build up a rapport with your drivers, a rapport with your shippers. Y'all doing good business. Everybody getting paid. You know, that's when your money will come. Your money don't come at the beginning. And sometimes people give up before they even get started. So you may have a shipper, and I'll be like, girl, you doing it. And you only move 1 load a week. And after week 2, you like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. Week 3, you like, I still only got one shipper. Can I tell you it may take a couple of months for you to get a shipper, but you got to keep doing it. You can't take no for an answer. If you do, everybody will say no. They're not waiting on you to call them to ask them to move the load, and you make it short and sweet. Hey, 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 Johnny, what's going on today? What you got going on over there? You got it free? You need me to move for you? And you got to have that communication, and that's how you build it. Everything it starts from scratch. So if you have the determination and you can do it every day and you can get up whether somebody say yes, no, or whatever the case may be, and you can keep calling, that's how you make it. It's not going to come. It's not going to just come. Shippers are out there. You got to find them. You got to find your niche, and you can't be all over the place. You got to know, Tamara, I'm focusing on dry van. That's all I want to do. I want to do dry van right now. Okay. Now, when you focus on dry van, you're going to be like, okay, I know the heaviest that they can do is 45. I know dry van, let's see if we can, they got a lot of first come, first serve, first appointments. You got to know where to ship at. Is it easy getting in, easy getting out? You know, you got to build a relationship with dry van drivers, dry van carriers. Focus on that. Get that down. Okay. But most people want to come in and you tell them to work on driving or reefer or flatbed. You know what they tell you? I want to do heavy haul. You ain't been at the company 2 weeks and you want to do heavy haul, baby. Uh-uh. Miss Thelma, I want to do intermodal. Why? I heard intermodal, that's where the money is. Miss Thelma, huh? I want to do, what else are we doing? Intermodal, the rails. Can I book the loads for the rails? Can we get drive in, reefer, and flatbed down? Is that okay with everybody? Y'all want to do heavy haul. Miss Thelma, I want to do car haul. Can we get drive in, reefer, and flatbed down? Okay, let's do that first. Thelma, I wanna move loads for the government. Did nobody just hear what I said? Can we get drive in, reefer, and flatbed loads down? You ain't even got a load and you want to run government freight. Where they doing that at? Child, it comes. It comes, but you got to put in the work. Ain't nobody giving you nothing out here. You got to put in that work, baby. Okay? And you put in that work and you stay committed. And I don't care. It may take you 3 months from now. It may take you 6 months from now. It may take you whatever. But I promise you, if you put that work in and you just stay pounding the pavement, some gonna shake. Okay? Some gonna shake. And when it shake, it's gonna open up for you. And then you establish those relationships. And when I can get people caught on the phone, Miss Tamara. And I'm like, that's that relationship. And that's something you should be proud of because them people will always depend on you, you know. And you just grow from there. You build your relationship with your drivers, you build your relationship with your shippers, and that's your business. That's your business. So, but I'm gonna show you everything that I do. I'm gonna show y'all what I do, how I get on the phone. Y'all know how I get down. I'm just as country. I'm southern, and that's the way I talk. And when I talk to you and we talking, I don't play that the banana like Tamara, call me back 3 months. Okay. Remember you told me to call you back in 3 months. I ain't forgot. I'm still here. You gonna let me have that freight now? That's what you gotta do. So other than that, guys, I've been on here for 2 hours. I hope I enjoyed talking to you guys. I hope I brought a light to the end of the day or the tunnel or whatever it is. Um, and just to remind you to keep pushing. And it's not the end of the world. Companies go out of business all the time. It's not the end all be all for none of us. And we just keep going. We hate it happen. They had a long run and built up that company from hauling nothing to 250 drivers that says something. And sir, the way that you allowed was able for them drivers to get home and pay them on Friday, that's to be that's to be respected. Okay, I have to be able to do what I have to do, and that's it. And we go from there. Other than that, guys, I love you all. Peace, love, joy, and happiness. I'll take you out there with me. I got this big old. I don't know if y'all seen the thing on TikTok, but it's a big computer screen, and it's about 32 inches, and it sits up on a stand. Okay, and let me take a picture of it, and I can show y'all. Hold on, but you get it off of the TikTok shop. Okay, and I love this thing. I could do live feeds. I could do. Let me show y'all. But that's it. It's a big old screen that I can do my live feeds on. And I don't know if y'all see my truck, my food truck. Hold on, let me show you. That's my menu. I got my menu. Um, oh, I've been making shrimp po' boys. This is how the truck looks, but I took those signs down, so I got some more better signs and stuff like that. But like I said, it's not that big. It's not that big. And this is some of my catfish that I took. I made that for me. No, that wasn't catfish. That's a ground mullet. So I made that for me. And but I had a menu up there like that. I got y'all see my A rating from the health department. I got an A rating, but that's a better picture of it. So that's with people out there and stuff. But I got my and these are the certificates they give you for the like when you have to put in your window. But this is a shot of it from my RV. I was taking a picture of the what's the name? But I got some tables out there, some picnic tables out there, and that's it. That's what I'm doing now. So that's people at the food truck, and that's what I'm doing now. So that this is my vendor's license. So I have a vendor's license and my Safe Serve certificate. So I got a Safe Serve manager. That's kind of like the inside. Those are my sinks, my fire extinguisher suppression thing. So that's my commercial kitchen. That's where I burnt myself on that stove. And that's it. Well, other than that, guys, peace, love, joy, happiness. You all have a wonderful and blessed day and out or night or whatever. And I'll talk to you all later.